Hello, students and listeners at home. With you is Okoye Helen, Maths Department. Our subject today is mathematics. Topic, basic trigonometric ratio, sine, cosine, and tangent. This is online lesson of St. Charles College, Onitsha. Our specific objective. By the end of the lesson, students should be able to state the relation, SOHCAHTOA. 2. State each formula of sine, cosine, and tangent in a given right-angled triangle. 3. Apply Pythagoras theorem in calculation of right-angled triangle. 4. Apply cosine, sine, tangent in calculation of right-angled triangle. This can be gotten easily by a relation popular called SOHCAHTOA. What is SOHCAHTOA? The simplest way to remember sine, cosine, and tangent formula. So means sine, opposite over hypotenuse. Later, I will show you the angle and show you the one that is opposite, the one that is hypotenuse, and tangent. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. Tua, tangent, opposite over adjacent. This is the right-angled triangle. In calculation of sine, cosine, and tangent, we used right-angled triangle. You can see it where I wrote hypotenuse is the longest side. Adjacent. Why did I choose that line to be the vertical line to be opposite? Because of that theta inside the angle, you can see something like 0. We cross a hyphen. That side that is opposite at that angle, we call it opposite. But the hypotenuse is always the longest side. It can never change. Now, the hypotenuse is always the same place, but the opposite and adjacent can change. Look at the second diagram. You will see the theta at the vertex of the angle. What is opposite to that theta? The horizontal line down. That horizontal line is now the opposite because that theta faces the horizontal line. Then the other side becomes the adjacent. You can see in the first diagram that the vertical line is the opposite, which means theta is opposite it and adjacent is the horizontal. But in the second diagram, the horizontal is the opposite because theta faces it. Calculation of sine, cosine, and tangent. From your table, find the value of the following. Sine 48 degrees. Go to sines of angles of 48 under 0 degrees. We have 0.7431. That tangent is cosine, not tangent. Then 32 under 6 degrees, cosines of angle. You have 0.825. Tan 32 degrees. You go to tangent of angles, 32 under 0. We have 0.6249 degrees. Now we are going to use this right angle triangle to calculate the unknown side in the following diagram. You see the first diagram, we have sine theta opposite over hypotenuse, which is x is the opposite, 4 is the hypotenuse. We don't have any problem at the adjacent. We are not asked to do anything or no number there. So we have sine 45 degrees equal to x over 4. X is opposite. 4 is the hypotenuse. You cross multiply, we have x equal to 4 sine 45 degrees. You go to sines of angles. You look for 45 under 0. We have 0.7071 times 4. Our answer, x equal to 2.8, approximately to the nearest whole number, 3 cm. To calculate x, you see this diagram. We are asked to calculate x and y. We have 53 degrees. Our y is the hypotenuse. What is our opposite? When you look at this diagram, you can see that 53 degrees is opposite x, which means x is opposite. 90 cm is the adjacent. First, let us calculate x. Where do we have opposite over adjacent? Because in x is the opposite, our adjacent, there is no number in y. So we are going to focus on opposite and adjacent. TUA, which means tangent. So tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent, which means our theta is 53 degrees. Tan 53 degrees equal to x over 90. We cross multiply. X equal to 90 times 53. Our tan 53 is 1.327844822. When you multiply by 9, it is 119.434033 cm. To one decimal point, x equal to 119.4 cm. That is the value of x. Let us go to the value of y. You can see we have hypotenuse, adjacent, and we have the opposite. We have got the answer for opposite. K, we are going to use adjacent over hypotenuse, which is K, cosine. Cos theta, A is adjacent, H is hypotenuse. So theta equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So cos 53 degrees, what is our adjacent? 90 cm. What is our y? No value for y. That is the hypotenuse. So cos 53 degrees equal to 90 over y. When we cross multiply, we have y cos 53 degrees. What do? We divide through by cos 53 degrees to make y the subject of the formula. When we divide through, we have 90 over our cos 53. Cosine of angle 53 under 0 is 0.60181500232. Multiply by divide. We have y equal to 90 over 90 divided by 0.60181500232. Y equal to 149.5 cm to one decimal point. Find the value of theta. You can see now, sometimes they will ask you to find the value of the side, or you find the value of theta. The two we have done is the sides. Now is the theta, which is the angle. The given angle theta, we ask to find the value. When you look at this diagram, there is nothing at the hypotenuse, the longest side. What is opposite to this angle? 8 cm, which means 6 cm is the adjacent. What do we use? From the SOHCAHTOA, we have TUA, opposite over adjacent. So we are going to use tan theta equal to opposite over adjacent, which means tan theta equal to 8 over 6, which is the opposite over adjacent. When you divide, 8 divided by 6 is 1.3333. You can see it is a recurring decimal. When you write 333, it will never stop. You stop somewhere. We look for tan inverse of 1.333. How do we look it in the calculator? When you punch shift, you punch tan, then 1.33, you will get 53.133. To the nearest degree, theta equal to 53 degrees. We have done this. We have found the angles. We have done the side. Now, there is another one that we are going to do, which we are going to apply Pythagoras rule or Pythagoras theorem. In Pythagoras theorem, the theorem says that the square on the hypotenuse is equal to the square on the other two sides. I'm just telling you what is Pythagoras theorem. Now, where is the hypotenuse? That longest side. If m is in the hypotenuse, it is m squared equal to a squared plus c squared, which means the square on the hypotenuse is equal to the square of the sum on the other two sides. We are going to apply Pythagoras theorem number 4 and also SOHCAHTOA. Now, given that tan x equal to 5 over 12, what is the value of sin x plus cos s? What do you do here? Whenever you heard of sine, cosine, tangent, remember a right angle triangle. Whenever you remember them for calculation, you remember the right angle triangle. Now we are asked to find, after you draw a right angle triangle, I have shown you which one is the opposite. When you have an angle, which one is the hypotenuse. But remember, in that angle 90 degrees, don't put theta there. Then we start. What are we going to do here? We are given this. The opposite is 5. It's facing the theta. The adjacent is 12. But we don't know the hypotenuse, because we are asked to find something after this. We are asked to find sin x plus cos s. If we don't know the hypotenuse, how do we find sin x or cos x? So we are going to find the hypotenuse by applying the Pythagoras theorem. Let us say that that hypotenuse is y. So we say y squared equal to 12 squared plus 5 squared. 12 times 12 is 144. 5 times 5 is 25. 144 plus 25, y squared equal to 169. We take square root of both sides. Why do we take square root of both sides? You can say that y is raised to power 2. So if y raised to power 2, how do you remove that power 2? Because we are looking for y. We are not looking for y raised to power 2. You know that 2 over 2, when you cancel, you get 1. So square root and raised to power 2, when you cancel, you get y. That's why we take square root of both sides. Now we take square root of both sides here. You can see that that square root, we cancel the square on top. Then square root of 169 is 13. Now our y equal to 13. We come to the business sign x plus cos s. First, you write sin x equal to opposite over hypotenuse. What is our opposite? 5. What is our hypotenuse that we have got? 13. Sin x is 5 over 13. Then we go to cos x. What is our cos x? Our cos k adjacent over hypotenuse. Our adjacent is 12. Our hypotenuse is 13. Then when we add 2 of them, 5 over 13 plus 12 over 13, you know that they are equal. Their LCM is 13. 13 into itself 1. 1 times 5, 5. 13 into itself 1. 1 times 12, 12. 12 plus 5, 17 over 13. If you want to divide it, it is because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. It is now one whole number, 4 over 13. Number 5, given that sin s is 5 over 13, and the diagram is a right angle triangle, and x should not be at an x should be the theta, which is x, should be in any of the place. Don't put it in the right angle triangle. We apply Pythagoras theorem. 13 squared equal to 5 squared plus m squared, 169. 13 times 13 is 169, equal to 5 times 5, 25 plus m squared. Additive inverse of 25 plus 25 is minus. 169 minus 25 is 144, equal to m squared. We take square root of both sides, m equal to 12. Sin x is 5 over 13, opposite over hypotenuse. Then, what is cos x? Our cos x, k, adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 12 over adjacent over hypotenuse. Our adjacent is 12. Our hypotenuse is 13, 12 over 13. What is tan? 2. Opposite over adjacent, 5 over 12. Now, cos x is 12 over 13 minus 2 times 5 over 13, which is 10 over 13, over 2 times 5 over 12, which is 10 over 12. We solve the numerator first. LCM is 12. You can see it. 12 minus 10. 13 into 13 is 1. 1 times 12, 12. 13 into 13, 1. 1 times 10, 10. 12 minus 10 is 2. 2 over 13. Then, to combine the numerator and the numerator is 10 over 12. The denominator is 10 over 12. Then we have the numerator 2 over 13 divided by 10 over 12. 2 over 13 divided by 10 over 12. You know that in division, when you change division to multiplication, at your right hand side, the denominator becomes the numerator, while the numerator becomes the denominator. So 12 over 13 times 12 over 10. 2 into itself, 1, into 10, 5. It is 1 over 13 times 12 over 5 equal to 12 over 65. Then, in the summary of our lesson, first of all, we say that to help us to find sine, cosine, tangent using right angle triangle, we have to apply SOHCAHTOA. So means SOH, S for sine, O for opposite, H for hypotenuse. So it means sine theta equal to opposite over hypotenuse. K means C for cosine, A for adjacent, H for hypotenuse. Cos theta means adjacent over hypotenuse. TOA means tangent, opposite over adjacent. T means for tan, O means for opposite, A means for adjacent. So tan theta opposite of adjacent. We also apply Pythagoras theorem. In Pythagoras theorem, when you draw a right angle triangle, we normally apply it in right angle triangle. We say that the longest side is the hypotenuse. Then that the square on the hypotenuse is equal to the square on the sum of the other two sides. Now, we also say that when you are given something to find the angles, either you use your calculator. Supposing you are asked to find some 50 degrees, either you use your calculator or you use your four-figure table. Your four-figure table, you go to 50 under 0, signs of angle to find it. You can find sides, you can find angles using sine, cosine, and tangent. Now, also, if you are given two sides to find maybe cos theta plus tan theta, you draw a right angle triangle and choose any of the angle inside, except that where we have 90 degrees, you don't choose it as a theta. You find the cos theta plus tan theta and make sure that the right angle triangle, all the sides are there. Because when you are given two sides and you use it, maybe you are given the opposite and adjacent. If you are asked to find sin theta plus cos theta, it will be very difficult for you to find it because you don't know the hypotenuse. So what you are going to do, first of all, apply Pythagoras theorem to find the hypotenuse. We come to the evaluation. Number one, given that sin P equal to 5/13, where P is an acute angle, find value of cos P minus tan P. What do we mean by acute angle? All of you know that an acute angle is less than 90 degrees, which means to show you that that sin P will not you will not place it at angle 90 degrees. Number two, if sin theta is equal to 4/5, this shows that this is a right angle triangle. The theta will not go to the right angle triangle. You are asked to find the value of cos theta plus tan theta. With this, I'm sure you enjoy the lesson. This is my WhatsApp number, 080-387-99127.